Hi guys, so in this experiment I'm going to be showing you guys how solubility works. Solubility is just a big term for disappearing. And so for the items we're going to be testing today, I'm going to be using baking powder, vegetable oil, salt, and sugar to test these items out. And I'm going to set a time limit for a minute, and I'm going to show you how fast these items will dissolve in the water. And so first on our list, we have salt. And this contains salt. And I'm gonna do tablespoon by tablespoon of me adding and stirring in the salt until it disappears. And I'm gonna start my timer now. And I'm gonna show you how fast a tablespoon of salt will disappear in the water. And that's 1 tablespoon of water disappeared. Let's see. 3. And that concludes the minute. So in a minute, I was able to dissolve 3 tablespoons of water. Okay, and that was for salt. Now next, we're going to be testing the solubility of baking powder. So for this one, we're going to be doing the exact same thing. I'm going to start my timer, and I'm going to just add a tablespoon until it dissolves. Notice how it's still not completely dissolved in the water just yet. So you're just going to keep stirring until it's completely dissolved. And that hits our minute mark. So I was able to get 1 tablespoon of baking powder until the water completely dissolved. Okay? And next, we're gonna do our cooking oil. Okay, so I'm gonna once again start my clock. And we're gonna dissolve. This one, mix. And if you can't tell, the oil in the water, the oil is not dissolving in the water. This is an example of the disappearing act. So with oil is not soluble in water. Therefore, it's going to sit here at the top, and it's not going to completely dissolve like the salt or the baking powder did. It's just not going to dissolve because water and oil do not mix. Okay, and lastly, we're going to do sugar. Same thing again. gonna add sugar to the water. Start my timer. Wait, before we start the timer, I'm gonna get these in smaller chunks. Okay, so we're gonna start our timer. Let's see how many we can get. Third tablespoon. Notice it's completely dissolving. Okay, I'm gonna try one more. Okay, and that concludes our sugar. So, with that being said, we can turn and see. So this is our sugar. You can see how that dissolved and was very soluble. This is our salt. As you can see, it still has a little bit of particles at the bottom, more than the sugar does. And then here we have our baking powder. And as you can see, there's still a good bit of it that didn't get dissolved. And then our last one was the oil. And as you can tell, maybe hard to just tell, but the oil is just sitting at the top. The oil did not go to the bottom like the other three. So that just means that the sugar and the salt, well, sugar being the top, sugar was the most soluble out of the four, and then it was the salt, and then the baking powder, and then of course the oil being last, because cooking oil is not soluble, because cooking oil does not mix with water. And that, you guys, is an experiment on why certain items disappear when you put it in water.